Boehringer Ingelheim has stood for innovation and responsibility for over 130 years. But how did it actually all begin? On July 31st, 1885, Albert Boehringer purchases a small tartar factory in Ingelheim in southwest Germany. A few years later, he makes a groundbreaking discovery. Thanks to his innovative spirit, he finds a way of producing lactic acid in industrially relevant volumes using biotechnology, thereby making a lasting change to the market. Soon after, Albert Boehringer develops another pioneering business area. His company extracts alkaloids in order to supply them to pharmacies and the budding pharmaceutical industry. Based on these plant-derived active substances, he puts the first of his own drugs on the market, laying the foundation of today's core business.
Albert Boehringer was no child prodigy. Although he had studied chemistry, he had no prior experience running a company. After achieving commercial success with his process for producing lactic acid, he was faced with the decision of how to reinvest the profits. Albert Boehringer chose to reinvest as much as he could in his employees, who had stood by his side for over a decade. In other words, he began exploring social services. What makes Albert Boehringer unique? His strength of purpose, his optimism for the future, and his openness to innovation, new ideas, and change. At the same time, he remained true to both, tradition and values. One does not exclude the other. In fact, together, they can complement each other wonderfully.
The next 2 decades are characterized by growth. New medications are launched for different indication areas, and new sites are built up. These include Biberach in Germany's Upper Swabia, today still the company's largest research site worldwide. From 1948, Boehringer Ingelheim enters new territory and establishes its first subsidiary outside Germany. Many more follow. The company employs about 50,000 people worldwide by 2017. In the 1970s, Boehringer Ingelheim expands to the US market and establishes a new field of activity: animal health.
I would say the development of the company internationally has been based on its own strengths. The development of our pipeline has offered us in many occasions then the opportunities to grow into new businesses and into new countries. When you are an international company, you have access to many people in all the continents. And if you are able to integrate all that diversity of thought into the processes and the thinking of your own company, so establishing yourselves in the respective countries guarantees that you can exchange experiences, that you can also benefit from the opinions of the customers for your future developments, and that you can offer them targeted solutions.
Biotechnology is also expanded further, and the company's first biotechnologically produced drug for treating acute myocardial infarction is approved. Many more milestones follow. The transfer of HIV from mothers to their unborn children can now be prevented. A medication for the debilitating lung disease, COPD, is launched. For the first time in 50 years, anticoagulants with a completely new mode of action can be given. Boehringer Ingelheim successfully enters diabetes research and achieves an outstanding therapeutic success. In 2016, veterinary medicine is strengthened significantly. Through a swap of business areas with Sanofi, Boehringer Ingelheim becomes one of the world market leaders in animal health. And success will continue. The family-owned company will in future collaborate even more closely with startups and universities to support their research with development know-how and clinical studies.
So for a really successful pharmaceutical company, I believe that you need to tap into both external innovation and internal innovation and bring them together. So this is our drive to be innovative and look across the world and find these experts that are thinking in these ways and bring our two heads together to see where we can really make a difference for patients. As a respiratory disease researcher, I think that there's Spiriva and nintedanib, but even in other therapeutic areas, especially cardiovascular and metabolic disease, two that jump out at me are Praxbind and Pradaxa. I think that these are huge innovations for the patients. And who did it? Who actually brought a drug forward for these patients? Boehringer Ingelheim did that. What's different about Boehringer Ingelheim is the deep commitment to research and science right inside the walls of Boehringer Ingelheim. You can have the idea and bring it forward. I would encourage young scientists to think, hey, you actually can make a difference in patients' lives if you come and work at Boehringer Ingelheim.
The Boehringer Ingelheim story is a classic example of true innovations. And the next innovation is surely on its way.